The iPhone 13 mini has been out for a while now, and Apple recently released the iPhone SE 3. And while both of these have a lot of similarities, I think there are some major differences between the two. So if you're deciding between the iPhone SE 3 and the iPhone 13 mini, I made this video to help you out by doing a full comparison. And spoiler alert, the better one is the iPhone 13 mini, but let's get into why. Starting with the design, the iPhone 13 mini has an undeniably better design than the iPhone SE 3. The iPhone 13 mini that I have is green, and it's easily the best looking phone out of them all. It has a modern and angular design that just looks way better than the outdated iPhone SE. The iPhone SE has the exact same design as the iPhone 8. That means it's more curved, it has a huge bezel, and a Touch ID button at the bottom, and I'll discuss that in a bit. The iPhone SE 3 really looks like an older iPhone because it stole the design from an older iPhone, but I do wish that Apple would have updated the design slightly just for 2022. The iPhone 13 mini also has a way better display than the iPhone SE. On the iPhone SE, you get a 4.7-inch display, but on the iPhone 13 mini, you get a 5.4-inch display. And if you're holding both of these phones, you might think that iPhone SE 3 has a bigger display, but really it has such a huge forehead and chin that it takes up most of the display area, and that leads to the iPhone 13 mini having an overall bigger display. If you look at the two side by side, the iPhone 13 mini displays more content than the iPhone SE, and that is always a better thing. It's more immersive. The iPhone 13 mini also has an XDR display, and that means that you get way punchier colors. Blacks look really black and white looks really white, whereas on the iPhone SE 3, the colors look less saturated, a little bit more cool in my opinion, and it doesn't get as bright. So when you're outdoors especially, there's a huge difference in terms of brightness between the two phones. The iPhone 13 mini works way better outside. The iPhone 13 mini also has a higher resolution at 476 ppi versus 326 ppi on the SE. Now let's move on to the chips inside of both of these phones, or should I say chip, because they are actually the exact same chip. So this is what makes the iPhone SE 3 a lot more impressive than any other phone. It actually has the latest and greatest chip on a mobile device if you're not including the M1 chip on the iPads. The A15 chip is plenty powerful, and you can find them in both of these phones. So that means that although you're paying less on the iPhone SE 3, you're not gonna miss out on any power. You're gonna get the exact same experience on both phones. Overall, the OS does feel the exact same, so swiping through and using the phone as you would day to day, you're not gonna get an advantage on the iPhone 13 mini over the iPhone SE 3. Both the iPhone 13 mini and the iPhone SE 3 will also continue to get software updates from Apple, and it should be roughly the same amount of years. I can't really figure out why Apple would decide to make more updates for the iPhone 13 mini versus the iPhone SE 3, especially because they're running the exact same chip. The iPhone 13 mini has a 12 megapixel camera system with a wide and ultra wide angle lens, while the iPhone SE just has a single 12 megapixel camera on the back. That means that you can easily get way more in frame when taking photos with the iPhone 13 mini versus the iPhone SE 3. Other than that though, they have very similar features such as portrait mode, photographic styles, and more. And while the iPhone 13 mini is definitely the better option, the iPhone SE is not too bad in terms of photos and holds up pretty well, which is a surprise. On the iPhone 13 mini, you're gonna get cinematic mode, which personally speaking, I never use, so for me, it's not really that much of a difference. At the front though, the iPhone 13 mini has a 12 megapixel camera versus the 7 megapixel camera on the iPhone SE. The front camera also has 4K video recording, where on the iPhone SE 3, you're not gonna get that function. Speaking of the front camera, the iPhone 13 mini has Face ID, which in my opinion is a lot better than Touch ID. Since Apple recently allowed us to unlock our phones using Face ID with a mask, I don't really see the benefits of having Touch ID, but some people do prefer it, and it's really down to preference. One thing that I do say that gives the iPhone SE an edge is that when you press the button, it really just unlocks the phone. You could go right into the OS, whereas sometimes on the iPhone 13 mini, when you unlock it, you do have to do a swipe gesture. So it's like one more action and first world problems, because that just means that you're lazy. A quick note on the battery. The iPhone 13 mini has a better battery. As Apple states, it has up to 17 hours of video playback and 15 hours on the iPhone SE3. On a regular workday, I'd say that I'd have to charge the iPhone 13 mini at around 7 p.m. But on the iPhone SE3, that usually dies around 5 p.m. for me. So I would say that the battery life is a lot better on the iPhone 13 mini. The iPhone 13 mini also features MagSafe, and that is not something that you're gonna get on the iPhone SE3, but there is a case for the iPhone SE3 that you can use to give you some MagSafe features. So a little bit of a workaround, but I like that it's native in the iPhone 13 mini. But that's pretty much it in terms of the full comparison. They both have the same level of performance, similar camera styles, and both work on the exact same OS. But the iPhone 13 mini has a better display, it has Face ID, it has better camera quality. If you're on a budget and can't really put more towards the phone, then the iPhone SE3 is definitely the clear winner in terms of budget and money only. And if you just really consider all the features on the 13 mini that I just mentioned, this is obviously the better phone. Anyways, that is what I think. If you were choosing between the iPhone 13 mini and the iPhone SE, which one would you choose? Let me know down below in the comments. I also want to say thank you so much for watching, but also thank you for subscribing. I recently reached 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm very happy about. I will be doing a giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber and comment down below, and I'll be announcing the winner of a $25 Apple or Amazon gift card by the end of this month. I will see you in the next one. Peace.